welcome back to my podcast show, Pondering That with myself, Saffron King. I'm the host, and today we're with a very, very special person, someone who I've known for years, Keiren Hamilton-Amos. As some of you will know, well, I'm sure most of you will know him as being Rusty from BBC's Champion show. Hi, Keiren.
Hello, Steph. How are you? Of
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for coming on the show. And you're
course.
someone that, you've got such a rich history in what you do. And it doesn't just stop with acting for you. Like obviously you're a writer and you're musically gifted as well. So I kind of want to do that justice as well. I feel like
Thank you.
what you've done, it doesn't just come up in just one little intro. But yes, Kieran, so just jumping straight into things, how did you land your role as Rusty on BBC Champion?
It's a long. Is it a long? Yeah, it's a long journey. It's a good story though, I think. Basically, my brethren, RIP Marcel, he told me about it. Marcel told me about the show, at christening, and he was like, I feel like there'll be something for you. Um, no, he was saying there is something for me. He's seen it. And so I messaged my agent, and she was like, "Oh, there's no auditions," and I'm like, "Yo, my brethren's already auditioned, and another one of my brethren's has already auditioned. Corey Weeks, who plays Bulla. I'm thinking these I've already auditioned, and you're saying there's none for me. So then she's saying there's no roles. So I just felt so drawn to the character. I hadn't even read the script. But if you know Marcel, you know what type of man he was, gifted, you get me, anointed. So when he's saying, yo, something about this one, I'm listening to the something about this one. So I've researched the casting director, I've researched the writer, I've researched the director, and I've messaged them. I've been like, boom, boom, boom. I heard it's this. I'm this. So I really fought to get an audition. I didn't hear from them for a long time, and then I'd done a show in Cumbria, um, far, very far and cold. Uh, it was horrendous. But anyway, but I had to cut my beard off. So like in the play, I go from I think it's like a 7-year-old all the way to like 23. So you have to start off with no beard. So I looked just completely different. So then I remember it was the tech rehearsal. And anyone that's ever been in tech, it's long, long days. You get me? It could be 10 till 10, 10 till midnight, depending on what's needed. And I remember I got the audition through maybe like 10 o'clock in the morning, and they needed it for 10 o'clock the next day. But I had to write some bars and learn the script while still doing tech. So I've done the audition to the best of my ability at the time, but I knew I could do better. So then I've sent it off, and I've heard back from them like a couple of weeks. You're not right for the role. I'm vexed now. I'm like, I thought this was it. Oh wow, da, 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 da. And then I started doing Grime Boy rehearsals at the Birmingham Rep, written by Casey Bailey, with Corey Weeks, and he's already got the role as Bulla now. And he's like, bro, there's a new casting director. And I said, yeah. I said,
Wow.
all right. Then he's like, emailed them, told them about this show. And obviously, because there's rapping in that show, and there was rapping in Grime Boy, they're like, yo, it makes sense. So I've my old audition tape, I had the script still. So I just re-recorded it better how I look now, like just more in the character, and sent it. And he was like, yeah, that was good. We'll keep it on record. We're not auditioning that part yet, but we'll keep you on record. So I'm like, cool, blah, blah, blah. And then we done a show. We done but like it's the show where everything's gone wrong. So it's like maybe like 4 or 5 days into Grime Boy. The microphones aren't working, the lights aren't coming on enough at the wrong time. The set changes are taking long. Like everything's just gone wrong in the show. And I remember like leaving, and we've gone back to the dressing room. I'm a bit annoyed and frustrated. And then Corey's come in and is like, yo, the writer of Champion and Netflix are here, the producers. And I said, what? So I'm vexed now. So he's like, come, let's go outside and meet them. He's like, you never know, bro. You never know. So I've gone
Wow.
outside and met them now. And I've just hit them with a hi, all right. Hit them with this
Yeah.
one. All right. And I
Yeah.
just sat in the corner. I was just, yeah, man. Yeah, thanks for coming. I'm doing that one. Because I'm thinking, yo, this could have been my opportunity. And then what I found out later on, after I got the role, is that when Candice came to watch Grime Boy, she went back to the BBC the next day and was like, I've seen this actor called Keiren from Birmingham, and I feel like the character of Rusty has to be older. I feel like he needs to be from Birmingham, and I feel like he needs to be Keiren. So she'd already put in a plea and a case for me without me even knowing at the time. So all of that's hidden behind closed doors. So then I get no, assigned to a new agency at like say like midday, and then by 2 o'clock I got the audition for Rusty. So then yeah. So done the audition. Yeah, done the audition. And I felt good about it. I didn't feel it wasn't arrogance, it was just a level of confidence of I know I can portray this character and bring a nuance that I feel like not many people can bring. And then I wasn't even going to church that much at the time. But whenever I remember saying to God, like, yo, if I feel a pull to go, I'm gonna go. I'm never gonna not deny the pull. And then one Sunday, I had the pull. Like, I need to go to church. So I went to my sister's church. I'm there and I'm thinking this is good, but there's more. So again, full circle, phone my side. I'm like, bro, what's going on, man? You still at church? He's like, yeah, bro, come through. So I've got to the church now. They're doing like this big altar call for like different people and creatives and all these types of things and that. And I'm thinking, oh, this is the Paul then, isn't it, God? And then he's calling up all these different types of people, and he's like, if anyone is in the creative arts, they come to the front. So I've come to the front now, and I'm a man. I don't really like bare people. If I don't know you, I don't really want you to pray for me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. I hear you.
So I'm doing that slow walk forward. You get me? But I'm trying to lock eyes with Marcel. Hit me. You get me? So Marcel's come over. Marcel's come over to me, and I've literally just broke down in his arms and that, because it's the first time. Because remember, I was ill. Well, people won't know, but you will know. Like, I was ill for a long time, so I hadn't been outside. People hadn't seen me in a very long time. But this is one of the first times people have seen me. So I've hugged Marcel, broke down in tears. He's telling me about what God's saying about this situation in my personal life and in terms of like the audition. And I remember him talking about what's it called, like a lighthouse.
Okay.
Like a lighthouse. And he's like, yo, the lights, like no, sorry, he was talking about a lighthouse, but in my mind when I'm praying I can see it. Before he mentioned it, I could see it, and it was like the light was dim, and God's like, yo, we need to charge up because you're doing too much. Like, you know when you got like batteries and you have to rub them together to make them start working. He was like, I'm doing too much rubbing and I'm not putting them back into the remote.
Right.
So like, I'm trying to do all this work to get this light to be bright in this lighthouse, and God was basically saying, yo, you just settle and let me do what I need to do in this stage. You get me? So Martha was like, yo, don't worry about it. As soon as you let go of the audition and all the worries about it, God can do what he needs to do.
Wow.
And now on the other side, I understand what Candice was doing. Do you know what I mean? So that was on the Sunday. Next day, I'm at Yard Art House. Get a phone call from my agent saying, just spoke to the casting director, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they want to offer you the role. Broke down. Yeah, man, broke down. So then the next day, the Tuesday, I've seen Marcel, told him the news, blah, blah, blah. Gas praying for me and that. And then obviously Wednesday he's gone into hospital, and on the Sunday, he passed. So it was like he never got to see me in the role, but he was a pivotal part of me even getting it. So yeah, that's how.
Thank you for sharing that, Kin. Honestly, like, even though obviously I know you had the role and I knew a bit of how you got it, but even me, I didn't know all of that, and that's so inspiring for me, because sometimes we see stuff from our own eyes, but we don't see what God is doing on the other side, and persevered through. And you know what, like, honestly, that is big. And you see, people didn't see at first the rejection that you experienced at first, but like you kept going, you kept knocking those doors through faith and prayer, and it's amazing. And look at you now on a big time show like Champion, you know what I mean? And what I loved about your role is that, and obviously as we'll go into the questions, like, you were such, even though like you were a role, I hope hopefully I've got it right, but you were a role man on the show.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, but you were a big motivator for Bosco through his hard
Mm,
time. Like, and I don't think I saw any other apart from his sister, but you still did it in a unique way because you knew where he
mm,
was coming from and what he experienced in prison. Like, I didn't see
yeah.
any other fictional character in that show that was feeding life to Bosco. And I liked how
Mm,
it's coming from someone like Rusty, do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Not someone who is prim and proper, quote unquote. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So how did you prepare yourself for the character Rusty? Like, would you say Keiren and Rusty are two completely different people?
What if I don't like the guy I am now, bro? You have to learn to like him because you're stuck with him.
No, not at all. You know, it's so interesting to be fair, because depending on when you met me, and I'm not trying to talk about like I was wicked and bad or nothing like that, but depending on when you met me in life, people will say, "Oh my gosh, you were just being yourself," or that, "Oh my gosh, you were someone completely different." And I think the preparation for any role is I always see what experiences do I share with the character, so I can have a personal experience. And sometimes it's not necessarily just to be like, oh, this person's been to prison. I've been to prison. I haven't been to prison, but like in terms of just an example, this person been to prison. Oh, I've been to prison. It's more the nuances. So if you've been to prison, you will know what it smells like. You know what the sounds are like. So when someone mentions prison, you've just got a more vivid picture than someone else that hasn't necessarily experienced it. So you can go and watch the documentaries all you want. You can walk in there as a free man and go and see it in the cell and be in the cell, but that doesn't have the weight of the whole trial, the expectations of the family and all of that, and then hearing the sounds and then seeing the prison cell. So in terms of getting ready, I've grown up in the hood all my life, in it. So, and having family that have experienced prison, family that have experienced mental health, suicidal thoughts, having my own journey with mental health and all those types of things, there was a pieces and bits of people and reality that I could kind of fold together and make into this one person. And I think what you said, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Amazing. No, thank you for sharing that, honestly. And I did sense a lot of authenticity. And obviously, I met you in your time. You are in your faith, you're in God, but I didn't know you before that. So it was interesting for me to see that. And I'm one of the people who've known you since, you've been in your faith with God.
yeah,
So but I could also tell that you were coming from a place as well. So I'm sure other people who didn't know you from both aspects, your faith aspect or the your life experience, they would see that, this is an authentic person.
yeah.
Kieran, what would you say was your most favorite part of working on such a great show,
I,
Champion?
I think it's just meeting the different people, all
Mm,
these different people that are now coming together for this common goal, and all the stories and the jokes and the journeys and the experiences and the relationships it all creates. It creates a hub. Yeah, it creates a real hub. And I think just because of I think the show's iconic for not just Black British TV, but for British TV. I think,
mm,
it's going to be one of those programs that are going to be talked about when you think of, especially like urban shows and for the culture. You got kidulthood, adulthood, they're already cemented. You got like Bullet Boy, then you've got like Another Hood, then you've got Top Boy,
Top Boy.
Top Boy, and then now Champion. I feel like it's gonna sit in the realm of those iconic things for Black British culture and
Absolutely.
British culture as well.
Absolutely. And I actually loved how like they had Birmingham on the map as well. And I feel like that doesn't
Yeah.
happen often. Obviously you got your main cities like London, Manchester, and even though Manchester is smaller than Birmingham, I
Mhm.
feel like Manchester gets put on the map a bit more than Birmingham. So it was nice to see London and Birmingham together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Keiren, going back to what you said about the mental health aspect, why do you think it was important for Champion to represent that through Bosco's character? Because he had like PTSD, didn't he?
Yeah. I think it's important to show just the reality of coming from certain experiences, and I think there's a what can be seen commercially sometimes can be a fabrication of the reality of things. If you watch what's Champion, like an 8-part drama. You watch the 8-part drama and you've seen this person do a journey, so that's 8 hours of our lives gone. But we feel like we followed someone else's journey. But if it was in the story, that journey could be over a span of 2 years. And after 8 hours, we can get up, jump in the shower, we're on to the next day. Whereas someone that's living with the experiences that we're watching, you now get to dive into their world. And I think it was important for Champion to show the hardships of just on so many different levels. I think even though Bosco's PTSD comes from a prison experience, I feel like it can be seen as just a metaphor of just the caging in of what they tell you to be as a man, a black musical artist, being a role model and da. So I feel like it could also be seen as a metaphor of the pressure that we can feel under a lot of the time.
Absolutely. And it's interesting you said that, because I'm so glad they touched on it in relation to prison, because I feel like when a person comes out of prison in a movie or a sitcom or a series, it's very pretty, like it's very flowery, like, oh yeah, come out of prison, and then it's not really spoken about after. It's like, oh, the person just never went. It felt like the person never went, but actually it's good that they kept it in, and it was done in a very subtle way, but still very powerful. And one thing that I was getting at as well is that his relationship with his dad was contributing to the PTSD as well. Like, yes, obviously the prison life, but also not really having that stable relationship with his father. So that's powerful. And Keiren, how did it make you feel that Birmingham was put on the map, as I was talking to you about earlier, through this?
Yo, that's what it was about, especially me and my brethren Corey Weeks. When we was talking about it, when we both got the roles and we're talking about it, even though there's tension between our character. Well, there's not even tensions like that, but yeah, there's tensions between our character. We was like, yo, we just have to do the city proud. It has to be for the city. Like, so when we're, writing songs or recording the tunes or we're filming, we're saying, yo, this is gonna be a representation of a Birmingham that I represent.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it's not to say that people haven't done it before, so like Peaky Blinders and shows like that put the spotlight on Birmingham. But it's been a long time since I've seen something that's got a Birmingham that represents, and I can be like, yo, he's from Birmingham. You know what I mean? Just the small nuances, the way that we speak and the way that we say, and what Candice did and the directors did, especially with our characters, was allow for our Birmingham nuances to come through. So when I'm saying, yo, we don't really say that here. So they'll be like, so what do you say? I'll be like, yo, what's going on, blood? To a family. You get me? Like, we talk very differently. I'm saying just traditionally, we're quite relaxed as a city. So we're not necessarily hyper all the time. You get me? We're just like, yo, blood, don't do that. You get me? You know what I mean? And
it's true.
I think the nuances was what I was so happy I was able to bring. So now when people are approaching and recognizing us, one of the things that they say is like, if it's a Birmingham I can recognize, I can well, because Birmingham get flat for like our accent and all of that type of stuff. You get me? And they're like, it's something that we can be proud of from Birmingham. So yeah, I was happy. It was all about that, man. It was all about that.
Absolutely. Honestly, Keiren, you've done amazing. And I really hope there's a season 2, because the way, I won't give any spoilers to anyone just in case no one's got to the last episode yet, but I feel like there's definitely more story to be told from how it ended, and even just more stories out of it holistically.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
Oh, thank you, Keiren. Thank you so much for speaking with us today. Honestly, like, there's so much I know you could say, but continue to shine, Keiren, and doing your passion and continue to make your family and Marcel proud. And myself proud of you.
Of
Oh, so
course.
Keiren, where can we find you on social media? What are your social media handles?
I'm new to this. I'm not new to it, but like I was the type of man that posts twice a year. You get me?
Oh,
So like doing all of this is new. So you can catch me Insta, Keiren J Amos.
okay.
Can you put it down here because my
Yes,
name, the way
I'm always,
Keiren's a bit
yeah, I always do anyway. Yeah,
yeah.
it's nice that you say it, but yeah, I'll
Yeah,
always
yeah,
put
yeah.
your handles down so people can just see.
Thank you. Yeah,
And
Keiren J Amos on Insta, Keiren J Amos on Twitter, Keiren Diego Hamilton Amos on TikTok.
and me, oh, see you on TikTok. Oh,
Yeah, trying
go
to
you,
slide,
Keiren.
trying to slide. Let me check on, try and try and
Oh.
try.
Well,
Mhm.
thank you so much, Keiren. And guys, if you want to continue following his journey, which I'm sure you will after watching what he's done in his most recent work, you know where to follow him. And you know where to follow us at _pondering that with Saffron King on Instagram and pondering that with Saffron King on YouTube and also Spotify and Apple as well. So thank you guys for listening and continue persevering. As you can see, Keiren is a strong perseverer and look how far he's got. So yes,
Mhm.
guys, take care and see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.